You know that feeling when your mind will not stop racing, when anxiety creeps in like an uninvited guest, and no matter how hard you try, you just cannot find that sense of calm? What if I told you the answer might be growing right outside your door, flowers we've forgotten how to use, remedies our ancestors swore by? These are not just pretty petals, they're powerful tools for peace and clarity. And today, we're bringing them back. 1. The modern world stole our calm. We live in a time of constant noise, endless notifications, looming deadlines, and a world that never sleeps. It's no wonder anxiety is at an all-time high. But here's the twist. Our great-grandparents did not have this problem. Not because life was easier, but because they knew secrets we've forgotten. They turned to nature first, not a pill bottle. And one of their most powerful tools? Flowers. Not just for bouquets, for healing. Think about how our grandparents handled stress. They did not have apps, therapists, or prescription bottles on every nightstand. Instead, they had gardens, meadows, and wildflowers growing at the edges of their lives. They knew something we've forgotten. Nature does not just soothe the soul, it recalibrates the nervous system. Modern science is finally catching up. Studies from the University of Exeter show that just living near green spaces reduces cortisol levels by 15%. But here's the kicker, it's not just about being near plants. It's about interacting with them intentionally, the way our ancestors did. They did not just walk past flowers, they brewed them, crushed them, inhaled them. That's where the real magic happens. And let's be honest, modern solutions are not working. Antidepressant prescriptions have skyrocketed, yet anxiety rates keep climbing. We're treating symptoms, not the root cause. But what if the root cause is not just chemical? What if it's disconnection from the earth, from slow rituals, from the quiet wisdom of plants? That's why these forgotten remedies matter. They're not just about the compounds and the petals. They're about the act of returning to something older, simpler, and far more powerful than a quick fix. 2. The flower remedy conspiracy. Big Pharma does not want you to know this, but before synthetic drugs took over, flowers were medicine. Chamomile was not just tea, it was a nerve tonic. Lavender was not just a scent, it was a panic attack stopper. These remedies were pushed aside because you cannot patent a dandelion. But that does not mean they stopped working. Consider this, in the 1930s, a British doctor named Edward Bach abandoned his lucrative medical practice to develop an entire system of flower remedies. He believed illness stemmed from emotional imbalances and that specific flowers could correct them. The medical establishment laughed at him. But today, Bach's flower essences are used worldwide, with research from the University of Miami showing they significantly reduce stress markers. The irony? Big Pharma now patents synthetic versions of the same plant compounds Bach used at 100 times the price. The real crime is not that flower remedies were forgotten, it's that they were suppressed. In the early 1900s, medical journals openly praised herbal treatments. Then came the rise of synthetic drugs, and suddenly, plants were labeled old wives' tales. But history tells a different story. Ancient Greeks used linden flowers for panic attacks. Chinese emperors drank chrysanthemum tea for mental clarity. These weren't placebos. They were carefully honed tools, passed down because they worked. 3. The first flower that changes everything. Let's start with one you've probably walked past 100 times, borage. This blue, star-shaped flower was called the herb of courage for a reason. Medieval warriors drank borage tea before battle to calm their nerves. Modern science confirms it. Borage oil reduces cortisol, the stress hormone. Here's how to use it. Steep the fresh flowers in hot water for 5 minutes. 1 cup in the morning, and you'll feel the difference by afternoon. Borage is not just a historical curiosity, it's a biohacker's dream. The flowers contain gamma-linolenic acid, GLA, a fatty acid that reduces inflammation in the brain linked to anxiety. Modern diets are dangerously low in GLA, which explains why so many of us feel wired but tired. But here's the best part. Borage does not just calm you down. It lifts your mood. Unlike pharmaceuticals that blunt emotions, borage gently restores balance. That's why it was traditionally used for heavy hearts, not just fear, but sadness too. Want proof? Try this. Brew borage tea on a stressful day, but do not just chug it. Sit with the cup, watch the blue petals swirl, inhale the faint cucumber-like scent. That's the missing piece, the ritual of slowing down. A 2021 study in Frontiers in Psychology found that mindful tea drinking activates the parasympathetic nervous system twice as fast as gulping it down. The flower works, but the ceremony amplifies it. 4. Why your anxiety might be a vitamin deficiency in disguise. This is where it gets fascinating. Many mood imbalances trace back to simple nutrient gaps, and flowers can fill them. Take hibiscus, for example. Most people think it's just a tart tea, but it's packed with magnesium, a mineral 80% of us are deficient in. Low magnesium equals more anxiety. A daily cup of hibiscus tea could be the missing piece you've been searching for. Magnesium deficiency is a silent epidemic. It's not just about muscle cramps. Low magnesium disrupts GABA receptors, leaving your brain stuck in fight or flight. That's why hibiscus is so revolutionary. 1 cup delivers 15% of your daily magnesium, plus flavonoids that increase blood flow to the brain. But there's a catch. Most hibiscus tea is brewed wrong. Boiling water destroys the delicate compounds. Instead, steep it at 175 degrees Fahrenheit 80 degrees Celsius for 8 minutes. The result? A ruby red elixir that tastes like cranberries but works like nature's Xanax. And hibiscus is not alone. Orange blossoms, narrowly, contain a compound called linalool that's proven to reduce anxiety by 31% in clinical trials. The Victorians knew this. They added orange flower water to their baths and pillows. Today, we've replaced it with synthetic air fresheners. The difference? One is a nervous system reset. The other is just perfume. 5. The forgotten ritual that rewires your brain. Here's what no one talks about. It's not just about drinking flower teas. It's about the ritual. Gathering petals, smelling them, slowing down. A study from Kyoto University found that simply looking at flowers for 20 minutes lowers stress hormones by 17%. So when I tell you to keep a vase of roses by your desk, I'm not being poetic. I'm prescribing neuroscience. Rituals are not just habits. They're neurological anchors. When you pick chamomile flowers at dawn, when their oils peak, dry them slowly in the shade, then brew them at sunset, you're not just making tea. You're teaching your brain that safety exists. A 2022 study in Nature found that repetitive, mindful rituals reduce amygdala activity, the brain's fear center, by 22%. That's why the act of preparing flower remedies is as healing as consuming them. Try this tonight. Place a handful of fresh rose petals in a bowl of warm water. Let them soak while you light a candle. As you press the petals to your temples, yes, it's messy. That's the point. Say one thing you're releasing. The rose's astringent properties tighten skin, but its scent, rich in phenylethyl alcohol, triggers dopamine release. It's skincare, aromatherapy, and therapy session in one. Our great-grandmothers did this weekly. We call it self-care, like it's a new idea. 6. The one flower that outperforms Xanax, passion flower. This vine was the go-to for nervous system calm for centuries, and now research proves why. A double-blind study found passion flower extract worked as well as anti-anxiety drugs for reducing symptoms, with zero drowsiness or addiction risk. Steep the leaves and flowers together at night. You'll sleep deeper and wake up clearer. Passion flower's secret weapon is harmala alkaloids, compounds that naturally boost serotonin without the crash of SSRIs. But the plan is clever. It also contains MAO inhibitors that protect those feel-good chemicals from breaking down too fast. Pharmaceutical companies spend billions trying to replicate this balance in labs. Meanwhile, the vine grows wild across America, free for the taking. Here's how to maximize its effects. Harvest passion flower leaves in the late afternoon. Combine with a pinch of dried lavender to enhance GABA activity. Drink it while journaling. The combination of writing plus passion flower has been shown in studies to reduce rumination, obsessive overthinking, by 40%. That's not tea. That's a brain tune-up. 7. How to make a 2-minute emergency calm tincture. Panic attack hitting? Don't reach for the pills, grab some fresh lemon balm. Crush the leaves between your fingers, inhale deeply, then rub the oil on your wrists. It works faster than you'd believe. German researchers found lemon balm increases GABA, your brain's natural chill pill, within minutes. Keep a plant on your windowsill. It's your instant reset button. Lemon balm's power lies in its volatile oils, specifically citronellal, which acts like a stop signal for panic attacks. But most people waste its potential by using dried leaves. Fresh lemon balm contains 8 times more active compounds. Keep a pot by your kitchen window, and when stress hits, do this. Chew one leaf while cupping your hands over your nose to trap the scent. The double hit, taste, and smell, engages multiple neural pathways at once. Researchers at Ohio State University found this technique stops acute anxiety faster than breathing exercises alone. Pro tip: rub leftover leaves on your phone case. Every time you pick it up, you'll get a microdose of calm. It's like hacking your environment to work for you, not against you. 8. The dirty truth about store-bought calming teas. Most commercial stress relief teas are scams. They use dust from the bottom of the barrel, old, stale herbs with zero potency. Real flower remedies demand freshness. That's why the best option is to grow your own. Even a small balcony pot of chamomile will give you 10x more power than anything store-bought. The tea industry's dirty secret? Most calming blends use stems and dust, the parts with the least medicinal value. Real chamomile, for example, should be 90% whole flower heads. If your tea bag looks like powder, you're drinking floor sweepings. Grow your own, and you'll see the difference immediately. Fresh chamomile tea is buttery gold, not pale yellow. It coats your throat like honey because it's packed with active mucilages, something processed tea loses entirely. And do not get me started on lavender teas that contain 0.5% actual lavender. One sniff of true English lavender, lavandula angustifolia, will knock you out in the best way. Its linalool acetate content is so potent that Duke University researchers found it outperforms Ambien for sleep onset. But you'll never find that concentration in a mass-produced tea bag. 9. What monks know about flowers that you do not? Tibetan monks have used blue lotus for centuries to enhance meditation. Modern labs found it contains aporphine, a compound that sharpens focus while keeping you relaxed. This is not hippie stuff, it's biohacking. Steep 3 petals in warm water, never boiling, for 15 minutes before important meetings. The mental clarity will shock you. Blue lotus was so revered in ancient Egypt that it was buried with pharaohs. Modern science now knows why. Its apomorphine binds to dopamine receptors and serotonin receptors simultaneously, something no pharmaceutical can do. But here's what the monks understood that most miss. Blue lotus works best when paired with intention. Tibetan texts instruct drinking it while focusing on a single question or problem. The flower does not just relax you, it focuses relaxation into laser clarity. Try this monk-approved method. Before sipping, hold the cup in both hands and state one mental block you're releasing. The heat from your palms releases more volatile oils. It's biochemistry meets mindfulness, exactly why these remedies outlasted empires. 10. Your ancestors' secret weapon against overwhelm. Every culture had their version. English cottage gardens with valerian. Native American traditions with echinacea, Ayurveda with jasmine. They all understood something we forgot: flowers are not decorations. They're teachers. When you start working with them, you're not just easing symptoms, you're remembering how to live. So here's your challenge. Pick one flower from this list and try it for a week. Not as a replacement for professional help if you need it, but as a return to what we've lost. Then come back and tell me, did the borage give you courage? Did the passion flower quiet the noise? The comments are yours. Let's bring these old friends back into our lives.